All right, we're going to move on. First of all, I would like to say good evening to everyone, and I would like to officially open our meeting for tonight. Tonight is Wednesday, July 21st. The year is 2021. Is everyone ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone ready? Okay. All right. We want to go on and officially open for tonight. We want to say welcome to our meeting. This is the Town of Fairmount Heights Mayor and Town Council meeting for July 21st, the year 2021. We are operating at a capacity where we're recording, and we have our team of reporters here, but we can't seem to get any response from our conference call-in line. So hopefully everyone, if you have a desire, the building is open, you can come around, you can, as long as you take your temperature, wear your mask, whatever you would like to do, the accessibility is there. So, but somehow or another, the connection was not working with the conference call. So we're doing what we can do. And I would like to, at this time, offer a moment of silence for all that has happened within our country, and to realize that we're just at the cusp of some other major things happening with the variant that's happening in our world. So everyone, please be safe, be kind to one another, because our time has a date. It's a hand-stamped date on our timing. So just think about that. So we could offer a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, I would like for everyone to please join us as we pledge to the flag of the United States of America. Would everyone please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. At this time, Mrs. Tucker, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin.
Present.
Councilmember Hopwell.
Here.
Councilmember Upper Walker.
Present.
Councilmember Morris.
Here.
Councilmember Morgan.
Here.
Councilmember Waiters. Councilmember Batson.
All right, thank you very much. Everyone is here. And I wanted to give a special thanks to Councilmember Morgan for trying to work with that system. And it was just about impossible, so at least we did try. We have some minutes that are listed here, and these were the April 21st minute, 2021. It was a town meeting. Has everyone had a copy? If you have a copy of those minutes, did you review those yet? The minutes for April 21st. Okay. Everyone did?
Yep.
All right.
March and April.
Okay. All right, so at this time, I will accept the motion for approval of the minutes for the April 21st, 2021 town meeting.
So moved, Waiters.
I get a second?
Second.
Councilmember Uck? Second. Any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Hopwell.
Yes.
Councilmember Upper Walker.
Yes.
Councilmember Morris.
Yes.
Councilmember Morgan.
Yes.
Councilmember Waiters.
Yes.
Councilmember Batson.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Those minutes are approved. Any nays? No abstentions? Thank you very much. April 21st, town meeting minutes have been approved. We're going to continue down our agenda. Next on our agenda, we have our police department report. Lieutenant, would you come forward, please?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens of Town of Fairmount Heights. The month of June 2021, the Fairmount Heights Police Department totaled 179 calls for service for the month of June 2021, with a difference of 165 calls for service for the month of May. Lieutenant Ivy also assisted 45, along with code enforcement, incoming calls to the station, information forwarded to his attention from the mayor and council, receiving issues and concerns that would come from the town residents. Particularly in a major carjacking incident with results being investigated for a false report that was given in reference to it. Domestic-related incidents with serious injuries but non-life-threatening. A death report was only a medical condition which was not COVID-related. A missing person report incident with a child that was reunited back with the family. The Town of Fairmount Heights property report incident with Lieutenant Ivy to work with the elected official on town management property task force issues. The UCR, meaning the Uniform Crime Reporting Data Reports, along with the FBI, will continue to be moving into more detailed information of reporting from local law enforcement agencies throughout Prince George's County, Maryland. Updates: the State's Attorney's Office and Fairmount Heights Police Department's partnership called Our Streets, Our Future. The Fairmount Heights Police Department has continued to its task force operations of municipal agencies with the State's Attorney's Office on our data, our tracking, and our enforcement of all carjacking incidents. The Law Enforcement Executive Overview regarding laws concerning police reform have been making sure executives are informed with training on much legislation concerning police reform throughout the year of 2021. The patrol, the Prince George's County Police Department, along with the Sea Pleasant Police Department, continues to support and assist the Town of Fairmount Heights Police Department. That concludes my report, Mayor and Council.
Thank you very much.
You're
Are there
welcome.
any questions for Lieutenant Ivy at the time?
Thank you.
Councilman,
No, I just want to add some sort of copy. I didn't get a copy. That's
Ma'am, I couldn't hear you from your mains.
a report I didn't get when I wasn't here.
Okay. I hand you this one right quick.
all right, thank you very much, Lieutenant. All right, we're going to continue on down the list. We have our code enforcement report, and I think Councilmember, I can do Walker has that available. If you have it, Councilmember?
Yes.
Would you please?
It's, I show it to read monthly report for June 3rd, 2021 through July 13th of 2021. During this period, we have issued notices of violation and corrective action to the following: Pierre Haynes, 6100 Lee Place, vegetation. Minerva Gutierrez, 5450 Addison Road, vegetation and debris. Deborah Nickens, 703 59th Avenue, debris in truck and fencing. Skin in the Game, 708 59th Avenue, vegetation. During this period, we have issued 7 civil citations. Ramos Investments, $1,000. Janelle Jordan, $500. September Properties, $500. Cynthia Brown, $250. Skin in the Game, $500. James Dorsey, $500. 714 to 716 60th Place, Project LLC, $1,000 for a trailer. During this period, we have issued 2 business licenses: Tremendo's Towing, $785, Hamilton Bonding, $730. During this period, I have issued 1 building permit: James Barnes, 729 61st Avenue, $131.25. The Sheriff Road Carryout presented their payment for their business license, but I wanted to get some feedback from the council before issuing the license. I have sent a letter to the owners of Frank Construction LLC, located at 5434 Addison Road, informing them of their responsibility to obtain a business license from the town of Fairmount Heights. Mr. Tommy Broadwater has paid for his business license for the restaurant and bail bonding, but he did not pay for the barber shop or the Fairmount Heights Grooming Lounge. Therefore, I was instructed not to issue him any licenses until he states that until the state of Maryland that these businesses are no longer operating. I sent Mr. Broadwater a letter on 7/6/21 letting him know of that position. On June 17th, 2021, I met with Councilmember Uck and Morgan along with Mrs. Syfax, her daughter, and Lieutenant Ivy to discuss her complaint concerning me issuing her a corrective action notice that was sent on May 18th, 2021. The area in question has been cleared by the owner. Mr. Sterling cut and removed the diseased tree located at 61st Avenue and Lee Place. He also removed a diseased tree located at Addison Road and 60th Avenue. Mr. Neil Lee, Kenilworth Foreign Car Parts, agreed to pay the town $800 for the old pickup truck in the parking lot. I placed a call to the Prince George's County Department of Public Works asking them to cut and remove the overgrown vegetation on the county's lot located in Fairmount Heights, Maryland. The lot is at 60th Avenue and Addison Road, as well as 707 58th Avenue. On July 12, 2021, Lieutenant Ivy and I met with Mr. Hamilton of Hamilton's Bonding Service. He and Rodney Timberlake concerning the property located at 5333 Sheriff Road. Mr. Hamilton agreed to bring his account current, and he did. Mr. Hamilton wants to lease his property to Mr. Rodney Timberlake so he can start a salvage company. I told him, in my position being to code enforcement, I needed to check with the mayor and town council. Residents of, concerning the residents of the town, and I was not in favorable of this property becoming a salvage lot on our main thoroughfare, leading into our nation's capital. Excuse me, I'm having a problem with this eye here. I told Mr. Hamilton that since it was such a late date, he would not be able to get on the agenda for the work session, but he could write a statement to the mayor and council, and it would be read for him in our work session, which was, in the letter reads, Mr. Pinckney, Code Enforcement, we are made aware of the requirement to get a temporary fencing approved and permitted by Prince George's County. We are beginning the process of finding and meeting the requirements of the county and the town of Fairmount Heights, Maryland. I and my family have been associated with Fairmount Heights for over 50 years and have been a supporter of the town and its citizens. We have participated with the town's planning, hired students from Fairmount Heights High School, and supplied jobs to the citizens in short. I have and will support the town as I can and will not bring a junkyard to the town of Fairmount Heights. Mr. Timberlake will be parking and dispatching his vehicles.
Yeah. Ms. Gladden? Okay.
All right,
And that concludes Code Enforcement's report.
okay, all right, thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, yes,
The report was read into public records. There were two paragraphs on page 2 that were not read.
from the code enforcement report.
Yes, number 3.
All right,
Paragraph number 3.
okay, would you speak up, council member? Because
Paragraph number
now we
3.
have, okay,
Mrs. Walker and I met with the owners of MLS Welding Company to get an estimate on installing fencing in different areas around the 4.4 acres. We met with Long Fence today.
Here are some results.
Estimate is enclosed. The Anacostia Watershed contracted a company to clean up the 4.4 acres, and the work has been completed.
And then the fifth paragraph down. Third paragraph, what you just read.
Mr. Neil Lee of Kenilworth, I placed a call to the Prince George's
No,
County.
that's one. I spoke.
I spoke with one of former Mayor Mine's daughters concerning the overgrown vegetation, and she said her and her sister would try to cut it over the weekend, and they did.
Okay. Were there any other issues with that report? That was it? Okay, thank you, Councilmember. Were there, well, I guess we'll have to move along because at least his report is in the record, it's read into the record. We're going to,
I didn't get a copy, nothing was in my box, so I appreciate the copy.
just a moment, Ken. So what was that, Councilmember? Yeah. Okay, and probably, we made a stack over on your, where you normally sit, but evidently somebody moved it. I guess when he was cleaning, he probably figured it was just trash, but we had a stack of all the reports and everything that were over there for you. So, okay, you have that
And
copy?
we usually put it in the box after I it.
Okay, but see, you know, trying to gather up everything, take it to the back, do this and do that, it was over there, right for you to pick up. Okay, Ms. Gladden, now, are you connected through the conference call line now?
Yes, ma'am, I am, but that's a comment I wanted to make. I got an email this afternoon saying the meeting was going to be on Zoom, so I tried both lines, but I just want to request, I'm not sure how the others are Zoom, and they not have connected to the conference line because it needs to be something, so.
Yeah, so,
Ms. Walker too.
okay. Yeah, so did you have the Zoom number, Ms. Gladden? Well, I see it's on the agenda here, so.
I think that was on Sunday. It's just not working.
Email saying it was gonna be on Zoom. Okay, okay,
It's just
all
not
right.
working.
So, yeah, well, we'll try to get as many as we can.
You can start the session if you ask Pastor to get in and see if people are sitting and waiting.
Well, I can't. Okay.
Start there.
Okay, I'm going to move on down the agenda. Mrs. Sarumi, would you please come to the mic here? I think it might be easier because now we have, I don't know who else might be on the conference line.
Ms.
And-
Walker.
Good evening, everyone. Citizens, and especially new citizens that I've not met. My name is Doris Sarumi, Nigerian. I've been out for a while.
Oh, yeah, you might have to remove your mask.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Okay.
you know, you can put it right back on soon as you
Okay.
like, you'll see.
Yeah, I've been ill, so I don't want to start sneezing and coughing.
Okay.
So I've been out for a while due to illness. So my report that I'm reading tonight may be a tad bit different from the report that I submitted for your work session, but the information is basically the same. First, I want to remind the mayor and council again, Mayor Martin and Ms. Tucker, please be on the lookout for the request to renew the franchise agreement with Verizon. There's a specific timeline in which we to renew that cable franchise. So I have not received anything yet. CSET, which is now referred to as the Center for Workforce Inclusion, is now open and is seeking work site locations for its seniors 65 years of age or older. This is an opportunity for the town to get administrative aides to assist with answering the phones, filing, sure scan, and other clerical assignments within the police department. Mrs. James, the director, recommended that we should start interviews now while town hall, while town hall is not officially open, but will reopen. That's what that should say. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I've talked to the mayor, I've talked to Ms. Tucker, and I've talked to Lieutenant Ivy in terms of the need that we have, especially for someone to answer the phones, cover the front desk, and other clerical work that we may identify. According to Mayor Martin, the town will not reopen officially until the day after Labor Day, am I correct?
Yes.
And hopefully we'll have someone to come in. We will have interviewed and have someone ready to come in to get started. Department of Public Works, and I put in parentheses, this was in my May 5th, 2021 report. Dumping has begun, and I'm not going to read this in detail because Mrs. Uck, Councilmember Uck just presented the same information from Mr. Pinckney's report about the Sheriff Road property becoming a dumping site again. And if you may recall, the town spent $20,000 plus to clean up this site about 2 years ago. And also, I too want to thank Anacostia Watershed Society for its recent partial cleanup of the site. And again, Mr. Pinckney, Lieutenant Ivy and I, we're working to begin a massive anti-dumping campaign, similar to what is what we're doing in litter-free Fairmount Heights. There is grant money available through the state and through the county for clean up Prince George's County, and I will be submitting some of those are mini grants starting at $2,000, but every dollar amount that we receive certainly benefits the town. This is a message also just to Councilmember Uck. I am pleased to say that I wish to work with public safety to develop an emergency preparedness plan. With all the recent radical storms of all sorts, it is not if the town would be faced with an emergency, but when. I guess about 3 weeks ago, twice I was caught in a terrible storm from leaving this building and going to lunch. It took me hours to get back because that's how bad the storm was. Immediately when I came back, I drove around town and Mrs. Walker was here and Lieutenant Ivy. I immediately drove around town to see what the devastation and what had happened in that short period of time. We had downed trees and tree limbs, especially down by the ravine. Trash cans were blown about, and we had clogged storm drains. We had tons of flooding that took place. On a personal note, during that same storm, I think it was on a Thursday, lightning struck my house. It struck my house and blew out my air conditioning. And the strike was so devastating that it shattered my walls too. So, and part of the emergency preparedness, one of the things that we really need to assist residents with and put on the website, always make sure you have handy your homeowner's insurance, and that is updated and up to date. Because again, we have had such a series of storms. I don't want to use the word climate warming, but it's for real, and it's happening in the town of Fairmount Heights as well. Economic community development. I'm happy to announce that the town was awarded a $5,000 grant from Prince George's County Arts and Humanities, and a copy of that award letter is attached. I want to thank Councilmember Williams, who assisted me in writing this grant. Initially, we had asked for funds for application of the scope of work that it would include design, stencil, and paint all manholes and storm water drains covers throughout the town. Design, stencil, and paint all cable, electrical, and other such utility boxes throughout the town. Design and create and install banners throughout the town. We're rebranding. Design, create, and install 3 historic district gateway signs, and hold a series of workshops featuring current and local artists. Prior to this meeting, we just had a meeting with the Arts Council to talk about the installation of a bus shelter, that in itself would be a piece of art. Also, I worked with, until I was not able, I worked with Councilmember Waiters to hold the town's first ever virtual art workshop and paint fest, and she'll talk more about that. We are waiting, I am waiting for funds through the Maryland Department of Housing I will be looking for funds from the Maryland Department of Housing and Economic Development to match our $5,000 grant, hopefully to bring it back to $15,000. Also, I've contacted PEPCO, since this may involve painting some of the equipment and charging stations already around town that's owned by PEPCO. Another great opportunity, the Satcher Health Leadership Institute of Morehouse School of Medicine, Atlanta, Georgia, notified Mayor Martin of a grant opportunity for funding in the amount of $20,000 through the Healthy Communities Initiative. As some of you may be aware or recall, the Satcher Leadership Institute awarded Fairmount Heights a $10,000 grant back in 2017. The project was a remarkable success, and the outcomes were many. Grant awards will be announced late July. Mayor Martin, you think July or August?
Probably sometime, I think it'll be sometime in August.
Okay.
Because they seem like their cycle is a little bit off.
Okay, okay. But we will certainly keep you posted in terms of some of the plans and ideas that we have for the use of $20,000. Net Zero Housing Development Project, I really have no new update for the citizens or for the council, other than that construction is scheduled to start late fall 2021. The Housing Initiative Partnership has been on the site, still doing some more testing and make certain that all water is connected and all electrical lines are disconnected. Also, we've been working through Economic Community Development, working with the Prince George's County Housing Authority, and they've started, and I put this in my other report, they started a new initiative for large and smaller development companies. So this is a way that we can engage companies for economic development, whether they're small or large, and the Housing Initiative Partnership is listed on both lists, and that's a blessing for us in that we are already partnering with the Housing Initiative Partnership to build 7 net zero houses and to create the first net zero housing district. The Green Team holds its regular meeting on the 4th Thursday in each month. Due to COVID-19, all of our meetings so far have been virtual. We're going to talk a little bit about the farmers market at our last Green Team meeting. The committee we talked about planning a farmers market at least twice a month. The team recommended that the market be held at the upper area of the ravine twice a month, Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We are asking some of our gardeners to bring some of their own produce. The farmers market can be fun, a fun event, and it could include demonstrations on how to preserve and can what you grow. And the whole thought is healthy eating, healthy living, and also composting. Repurposing items instead of sending it all to the dump. Councilmember Waiters turned 3 baskets that I had given to her into 3 beautiful hanging baskets. I had planned to bring all this demonstration and also to bring you items from my garden. More volunteers are needed, not only for the Green Team, but also for economic community development. I really want to applaud Mr. Warren Eagleston, a town resident who stepped up to the plate and have been working very hard since he joined immediately after Earth Day. He wasn't able to be here for Earth Day, but he had asked to have seedlings and he wanted to plant items in his garden, and I certainly came up on a Saturday and bought him items for his garden. He said he's having problems with having visitors from rabbits and other critters who are enjoying the fruits of his labor. He has taken on a project to remove invasive weeds and trees at the townhouse. It looks really good. He coordinated that with Mr. Hill in Public Works. So as he cut and removed the overgrown trees and the invasive plants, Public Works has been picking it up. In addition, I'm happy to announce that he's a chef, and he has volunteered to help out with our farmers market. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rooney. Are there any questions for Mr. Rooney? All right. I'm not sure whether our treasurer is still on the line. She was trying to get in on the conference and, oh, good. All right. All right. Well, Ms. Walker, you can go on and have some say now. I think most people can hear you. I think.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Council, and citizens, and staff. Fairmount and staff. Every point to the end of our fiscal year, for income, our general fund, $680,000. I ended up in transfers, which are mainly funds out by $155,276. Other revenues, which come from.
Yeah, we won't be able to hear Ms. Martin.
What total revenue for that's $20,308 above our food revenue. So again, $20,000 above our food revenue. Our expenses and inflation of $180,000. Legislative and council, $36,010. The municipal was covered our utilities, our property maintenance, our telephone, our cable, our iPad, that was
Yeah, but tell her that Mrs. Side, you have a question for the treasurer? Yeah.
And, thank you for allowing, my family and I to participate in the reward members of the, town reward residents. Thank you for allowing us to participate. That was really a wonderful event. Thank you so much.
Hold on, Ms. Walker. She said, thank you for the art show. She said her and her family did participate.
You're welcome.
So she wanted to just thank you for putting that on.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay. Somebody had a question?
That was Mrs. Side.
Yeah, Ms. Walker, this is about the business licenses. I know you said that the building doesn't open until after Labor Day, and I guess the business licenses are due for July the 1st. So I know some of my tenants had difficulty last year paying. Did the town send them out statements or some type of bill like I get for the trash removal?
Yes.
She said she know the town isn't open yet, but she wanted to know if the business licenses went out for the month of July.
Some bills, statements.
Statement.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Ms. Fairfax.
Yes,
Ms. Fairfax.
good evening, Ms. Stopback. Thank you so much. I do apologize, I should have said that in my report. Yes, ma'am, and all of this has received their license, they're on their way to the year 22. And several of them have already, secured their license. Thank you for reminding me that I should have reported on that, I do apologize.
Oh, okay, so, they can just mail it in or bring it in. Last year, some of them had trouble because the building was closed. Okay, then I'll send them a text to that effect. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Okay, you do the same. Thank you very much. All right, we're gonna move, bye-bye. We're going to move on down the line, and our next agenda item under new business is we have a new Board of Ethics member. I think he had to take a call, didn't he? That's right, I forgot about him. All right, we're going to go on down then. We will do, our 3 members for the Board of Elections. We're gonna have 4, but our 4th member sent me a text message a couple of hours ago saying that she had been ill all day and that she wasn't gonna be able to make it tonight. So she is to be sworn in also. Her name is Megan Soul. I think she pronounced it Soleil. She's on J Street, right on the other side of Fairmount Heights, right off Addison Road. So she is the 4th member. We have the 3 members that are here, Mr. Marvin Patrick, Mr. Ricardo Harris, and Ms. Francia Salcido. So if you all would please come forward at this time, I would like to get you sworn in. We'll just do it in random order. Okay, yeah, you all need to get a picture? All right, yes, I'm good. What about you? All right, okay, we'll get you. Francia, we'll get you first. And then we'll get our 2 gentlemen. And then I will schedule it. And that's it, I will schedule it so that we'll get Megan sworn in also. So, can you all get a good picture? So, yeah. Francia, would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Francis Marcel,
Do swear or affirm
do swear affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office
execute the office
of the Board of Elections
of the Board of Elections
for the town of Fairmount
for
Heights,
the town of Fairmount Heights,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of this town and state.
and state.
Consider yourself duly sworn. Yes. Consider yourself sworn. Yes, thank you so much for stepping up. I'm going to let you sign. Well, let me sign first, and I'll let you sign. And you'll be getting your original as soon as Ms. Tucker. You already have the other copies of Ms. Tucker.
That's the reason why.
Okay. All right. Francie, if you could sign right there, that would be great. All right, thank you so much. Would you all give us some applause? Yeah, we appreciate your service. We appreciate it. All right. So, Ms. Tucker, I'll hold on to these and they can pick these up. And you all will be also getting a copy of the charter and the Board of Elections regulations. So this is just the beginning because you'll also be getting some training that goes along with this. So I'm going to give you your copy of this now, Francia, and then I'll give everyone else theirs. And we'll, after, let me just say, it'll probably be like, I'm saying August the 2nd before I can get back and, come back with you all, because once everybody's sworn in, the keys to the election room and everything, you all have to start having your couple of meetings, and you'll decide who your chairperson will be. Once you get your chairperson, then you start working out details, we get the training, and we'll start getting prepared, okay? All right, we appreciate you all for coming forward. Sure. Yes. And, all right, I'll put yours there, Francia. And Ricardo, Brother Rick.
Yes, ma'am.
You might as well come on forward here. And so happy to say, I'm very happy to see that Rick, we call him Rick because, he's been with us for so long here in the town, and I'm just so happy that he volunteered to be on the board. It's just a pleasure to work with you for all these years and to see you come to help out. This is great. It's great. Yeah. Could you raise your right hand, repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Ricardo Harris,
Do swear or affirm
do swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill
to the best of my skills
and judgment,
and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office
execute the office
of the Board of Elections
of the Board of Elections
for the town of Fairmount Heights,
for the town of Fairmount Heights,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of this town and state.
of this town and state.
Consider yourself duly sworn. Yes, it's a pleasure. It is a pleasure. Rick, I will sign first, and I'll get your signature. You all will pick up your original copies once Ms. Tucker puts them in the record. She makes the copies of those, and you'll pick up your original copy. You can just sign right there. And all All right, thank you so much. Will you all please give them some applause? Please give them applause. And that is your copy of the charter and information for the Board of Elections. Okay? All right. Okay. All right. So we have our other two. We only have oh, I got Mr. James. All right, Mr. Patrick, we got you here. Why? Because I got an extra one. Where's Mr. I'm waiting for him to come back in for the Board of Ethics. All right, Mr. Patrick, it's really great to see you come forward also and volunteer to be a member of the Board of Election. It gives me great honor to swear you in. Yes. And so would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, say your name,
I, Marvin Patrick,
do swear or affirm
do swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and that I will be faithful
and bear true
and
allegiance
bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my
to
skill
the best of my skill
and judgment,
and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office
execute the office
of the Board of Election
of the Board of Elections
for the town of Fairmount Heights,
for the town of Fairmount Heights,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of this town and state.
of this town and state.
Consider yourself duly sworn. We appreciate you. Yeah. I'm going to sign this message that you can sign, and we appreciate you. And you sign there, you'll get your copy back within a few days. Ms. Tucker will get it all fixed up for you. You can pick it up. All right, thank you. You all give us some applause. Yes. Did you get your copy of the charter yet?
No.
All right, so here's your copy there. You can begin to review some of the things in the back. It's all the information for the Board of Elections. Like I said, you all be getting the training also.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. So happy to see you all come in and volunteer. I'm still waiting on Mr. Nathaniel. He is here. I know he had to run out. Evidently he took a call or something. As soon as he gets back.
He's coming right now.
He's coming, okay. All right. I want to get him all squared away also.
I thought it was. He was right there at the door. Oh, he's still on the phone? Oh,
Is he still out?
he's still on the phone, yeah.
Okay, all right. If he's still here while our meeting is going on, I'll get him before we leave. I'm going to go on down to the next item on the agenda, which is the opening date for our town building here. This building, as you all know, has been closed because of the pandemic. And we had gotten the word from the governor saying that we could open and to do it within 45 days, but it seems like it's gotten to the point where it's going back and forth. They're saying because of the way the numbers have gone up, there might be some change in that. So we're anticipating that we're going to open on September 7th. If things work out well, that's what we'll do. So that is our target date. We discussed that in work session. We said we're going to open on September 7th. So this building has to be re-disinfected, even though we've been doing that whole process ever since the pandemic. You know, we've been keeping it clean. We've had the sanitizers. We've had the mask out front for everybody. We've even started putting cold water out front when people come in the front door. So we're trying to be, you know, make sure we have everything in order. Another thing too is that the temperatures. We've been doing the temperatures upstairs, downstairs, and every time somebody comes into the building. So this with the cleaning, not only that, Mr. Tasker, one of our public works aides here, He's been doing a very good job of sanitizing top to bottom, from doorknobs to tables to floors to, vacuuming, sweeping, doing the windows out front, just keeping it clean even when we haven't had a service coming in, because our service that we had for cleaning was like, it came once per month during the pandemic. So we've been really keeping this place spick and span. Spick and span.
He's back.
Oh, yeah. All right, Mr. Nathaniel, would you please come forward so that I can swear you in? Now, would you all give him some applause? Mr. Nathaniel Oluwafemi Ajo, how you pronounce it? Ajo, okay.
Bonjour.
Now, he is replacing one of our members that could no longer serve in the capacity for the Board of Ethics, so that with him coming on, that will give us our correct number, which is 3 according to the charter. So I want to say thank you for volunteering to come forward, because we understand with any position there's always a lot involved, and we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Yes. So I'm going to go on and swear you in. If you would just raise your hand and repeat after me. Say I, and then state your name.
I, Nathaniel Oluwafemi Ajo,
Do swear or affirm
do swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
and that I will be faithful
and I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance and bear true allegiance
and be true allegiance
to the state of
in
Maryland,
the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and then I will,
to the best of my skill
to the best of my skill
and judgment,
and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office
execute the office
of Board of Ethics Commission,
of Board of Ethics
Commission
Commission
for the town of Fairmount Heights,
for the town of Fairmount Heights,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of this town and state.
of this town and state.
Consider yourself duly sworn. Yes. Thank you for your time. You all please give him some applause. You can step over this way so you can, I'm going to sign and then you will sign. You can sign right here to my left. And you'll pick up your original copy. What's the day? Is Wednesday. You can probably do it by either tomorrow or Friday. Get your original. Okay. All right. Oh, you got it on it. Got the double signature. Yeah. All right. Would y'all please give us some applause? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. All right. You'll be picking up your original.
Okay.
All right. All right. Okay, thanks to everyone, all of the members that were sworn in tonight. Thank you all so very much for your participation. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the dedication of our pocket park. Now, as you all already are aware, our pocket park has been, it's been there, and well, let's just say we're going into 2 years because of the pandemic. We couldn't really do anything to officially open it. So during our work session, we picked our target date for opening, for an official opening, September 18th at 10 o'clock a.m. So you all will be getting notices about that, because we're not going to have anything really big, but like I said earlier, hopefully things continue to work out, because right now the governor is acting like he might want to make some changes about what's happening with the variants and all the things that are going on. As you know, it's just fluctuating back and forth. So if that does happen, you'll probably get a notice and we got to push it back. But we have to do whatever we can do to keep everyone safe, because it's not a good situation. And there's a lot of information that we're not really getting. Let's be realistic about it. When we get it, it's already happened. It has already happened. So just be on the lookout for the news, and I'm going to try to make sure that we get it posted to our TV station and get it put on the website, Mr. Rubin, so that we can let everyone keep up with it, because we're saying that is gonna be the date, September 18th, but it might not really be a possibility. We have to do what we can to make it happen, okay? So at this time, I'm going to also move down the agenda, and our next item is the resolution to approve the Pepco charging station. It will be located at the rear of our building at 6100 George Street, Fairmount Heights, Maryland, zip code 20743. There is a resolution that goes along with this Pepco charging station. We've been talking about it for a while, and we figured that it would be in the best interest of all our citizens, not only those who are alive and viable now, but this is an item for the future, because it's amazing how many cars are just going electric now, and we're going to need to be prepared. So we will be one of the first communities, even though Mount Rainier, New Carrollton, their system's up, and I think Greenville's system is up too. But for a small community, this is going to be really something great for us, because it gives people the accessibility to charge your vehicle and going about your businesses. It's not like you're going to just stay there, but it's accessibility. And see, people can come in right off Addison Road, they can come in off Sheriff Road. So it makes it easy to get your vehicle running. Some people might have trips to take, they have other things they want to do, but you can come right there, charge it, and keep on going. So this is a design that Pepco originated. They approached us about this a while ago. It's been a little while getting it out and making it happen, but I'm pleased to say that tonight, once we get this resolution passed, we can move forward with getting a Pepco charging station for electric vehicles here in the town of Fairmount Heights. So I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah. So at this time, Mrs. Tucker, I would like for you to read the resolution. Do you have the copy there?
Yes, I have a copy.
Okay.
Resolution number FHR 05-2021. Introduction by Mayor Lily Thompson Martin. Date of introduction, July 21st, 2021. A resolution in support of Maryland's goal to advance the adoption of electric vehicles through the expansion of public electric vehicle charging station infrastructure on property owned by the town of Fairmount Heights, Maryland. Whereas the Heights is the owner of the property located at 6100 George Street, Fairmount Heights, Maryland, 20743, it should be. And Pepco and Town of Fairmount Heights desires to support Maryland's goal to advance the adoption of electric vehicles through the expansion of public electric vehicle charging station infrastructure in property owned by the Town of Fairmount Heights. And whereas the Town of Fairmount Heights agrees to allow the installation, operations, maintenance, and the renewal and the removal of the electric vehicle charging station facilities on the Town of Fairmount Heights property under the terms and conditions stated in license agreement for electric vehicle charging stations. And whereas the Town of Fairmount Heights acknowledges and agrees that all charging stations facilities shall be considered personal property and shall at all times remain Pepco's property. And whereas the Town of Fairmount Heights reserves the right to establish hours of operation, and such hours will be posted. Now therefore be it resolved that the town approves the Pepco licenses agreement for electric vehicle charging station. Be it further resolved that the mayor and town council of the Town of Fairmount Heights grants Pepco the rights to install an electric charging station at 6011 George Street at the rear parking lot. This resolution is adopted by the council of the Town of Fairmount Heights on this 21st day of July, 2021.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Tucker. At this time, I will accept the motion to approve the resolution in support of Maryland's goal to advance the adoption of electric vehicles through the expansion of public electric vehicle charging stations on property owned by the town of Fairmount Heights.
So moved, Madam Mayor, waivers with that correction that Ms. Tucker pointed out.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, it's been probably moved and seconded that we approve the Pepco electric charging station in the back of our building here at 6100 Jobs. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Aye.
Councilmember Hubble,
She had to leave. She had an emergency, had to leave. Yes.
Councilmember Upton Walker,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris, and Councilmember Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Waiters,
Aye.
and Councilmember Dodson.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Our new charging station will be coming as soon as Pepco can get it out. Let's just give it a hand. Were there any nays and no abstentions? So I think that this is going to also, along with all of our other options that we have working, this is putting us as far into the future as we can reach on this point. But it's such a great accomplishment to just start focusing on what can happen with having a facility like this here, because you know it's accessible not only for our residents, but if somebody else wanted to come and during our hours of operation, you just pull up and charge and go on about your business. So like I said, Volvo said that within the next 2 years, they're going to have the majority of their vehicles will be electric. And you see so many Teslas on the highway now until it's not even funny, and they're so smooth and quiet. They just moving on along. You don't even know. I mentioned that in work session. I was out on 202 the other day, and one came, I don't know how far back he was. He eased up on me before I knew it. He was going on, went on down 202. You didn't even hear him. That's just how nice it's set up. So I want to say thank you to the council members, and thank you to the community for looking at the possibilities, because these are great possibilities. All right, I'm going to report on a few things for my own report. I wanted to mention, we mentioned this in work session, I think I mentioned it in the last meeting, that we made the decision that during the month of August, we will not have any work sessions or town meeting. We'll be doing the private brainstorming sessions like we've done in previous years, and we'll be doing emergency items. You know, there are always emergency items that are going to come up. So that is what our plan is for the month of August. No work session and no public meeting. Okay? I also talked about the Evelyn Cole Center. They said, I'm not sure, I know Brandon was saying, I don't think they're quite ready, but they've been announcing that they'll be opening soon for the seniors that really want to have somewhere to go. So I know they'll be looking forward to that. They'll be looking forward to it. We talked this evening to the Prince George's County Arts, the Arts Council. They were on the line with us, on a dedicated line, and we talked about the bus stop that we have been talking about now probably 2 years. We want to make that a stop that's really going to grab a lot of attention and honor our history here in the town, and it's going to really be a nice showpiece. Part of this funding will be garnered from Delegate Eric Barron is the first person that brought us that concept. And you know, we'll also be adding some funding to it, but it's going to be something that's going to really be really beautiful. What we saw tonight, all those examples, most of them were beautiful, but they asked us to pick out at least from 1 to 3 choices. So I'm asking everyone, council members, please submit your choices to Mrs. Tucker by Friday. Mrs. Tucker, Mr. Rumi has my choice. I hope Mr. Rumi passed that along to Ms. Tucker so you can consolidate all of those and call Ms. Taylor Dotson. Her number is on the You have the paper that's wrong. You have Taylor Dobson's number. Please call them and let them know so that we don't hold the process up. We need to move it forward. Yeah, we need to move it forward. So we've been really doing a lot of things, as you very well know. We had a large meeting on Saturday, just a legit meeting, our insurance company, and we talked about the kind of things that we knew that was mandatory, which was for us to get an updated personnel manual. So that is in the works. We hope to have that completed very, very soon. Once it is, it'll be going back to the JIF for them to give their final approval, and we'll have an updated, a brand new Town of Fairmount Heights personnel manual. So let's get some applause on that. All right. I wanted to report also, a lot of times we don't mention our citizens that have passed on, but we don't always know, and we don't have the details. Mr. Leonard Williams, one of our longtime residents that used to live down on 61st Avenue, right before you get to Sheriff Road, he passed away a few weeks ago, and they had his service on Monday. So I attended and took a proclamation, and I just spoke for a few moments just to say that he was a real treasure to have here in the town, because he was a person that always gave so much. He would attend meetings a lot of times, he would always vote. He was a good person, good person. So I was happy that I got the notice in time to be able to go. It was over at J.D. Jenkins' funeral home. Yeah, so got that. And the last thing I want to talk about is I received word yesterday, UCAP representative came and knocked on my door and said, I need to put you in touch with UCAP. Rashida wants to get some valuable information to you. And what they said is that UCAP has purchased the church, the old school, old Mount Zion. They purchased that as of yesterday. So that is going to be a process that we'll be able to join with them and get some direction as far as ideas of what they want to do with that property. But the word came forward yesterday, they had purchased it. And you know and I know, because of the way things have been happening now with the nonprofits, especially with the ARP funding, they have taken the lead. Nonprofits are getting all kinds of opportunities. So they have that. It's incumbent upon us to work with it, because it's going to be to our advantage to have them in that position. The place, we don't want it to fall to the ground. And you take a look at it, half the time the grass hasn't even been cut. So I think that's something that's really noteworthy. And I wanted that to become a part of the record. Okay. I'm going to move on down. First of all, I'm going to sign here the PEPCO charging agreement, and I'll pass this along to all the council members so that you all can sign. And I'm going to move on down to the council reports. And I'm going to start over here with Council Member Walker. Council members.
I'm going to fix this chair. Good evening, everybody. First and foremost, I want to apologize for the couple of kerfuffles that I had while reading the code enforcement's report. This would be my report 6/2021 through 7/2021. I attended all required meetings, work session, and town halls, the community conversation with Senator Benson, all budget meetings and passing of the budget, the review of the new personnel policy. Public safety Q&A was held with Major Sean Waddy of Prince George's Police Department and Lieutenant Paul Sims, Mount Rainier Municipal Police Department, on restructuring of the Fairmount Heights Police Department, whereas per the citizens that were in attendance, it was determined that we were to put out a survey as to whether or not we would want to continue the Fairmount Heights Police Department. That survey has been completed. I will be holding a meeting on July the 30th with the committee chairs for review and any constructive input. The survey will also be converted into Spanish. that would complete my report.
Thank you very much, Councilmember. Councilmember Morris?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My report is that I went to MML. I got a lot of information to disperse to the different members of the council and the committees that they're on. The one meeting that I sat in that kind of made more sense than any of them while we were there was the elections that all the other communities were going through. The county, as I spoke last night at our introduction to some of the people on the committee, the elections are having to transpose themselves and actually do things that we've never had to do before. So the county is offering a lot of assistance, and we should expect that our election coming up next year should have a lot of things done that we haven't had done before, like drop boxes put around the town, and just different protocols because of COVID. We don't know what's going forward in the next year or so, but they are putting things in place to help people get out and vote. I ran across a lot of state help up there, where I talked to a lot of committees. One of them was on the governor's committee, where they actually offer arbitration for all the things that are going on here in the town that Senator Benson came down to speak on. Arbitration is free. All we have to do is contact the department that is having it. They will send people out, they will contact everybody, and they will come in and do the best to eliminate some of the problems so we don't have to have senators and people come back over and do it for us. Also came across electric police cars, which they are offering, and it would go hand in hand with the electric station that we're putting in. The state is trying to turn their fleet over to nothing but electric at this time. So they're offering a lot of help. Also, I realized that they've changed the laws on the speed cameras, so speed cameras are now accessible for us. The problem with it is that we don't really have a road that is completely ours that we can police with the cameras. The only one we have is Sheriff Road. Addison Road is by the county, and we can't put speed cameras there. We don't want to put them inside of the town streets going through the town. But it is an option. If we want to look at getting something on Sheriff Road, we can look back at it. I think the law that was changed is that you no longer have to be near the schools in order to have the cameras out.
That's good. Okay.
I also came across a procurement site for the state, in which the state handles bidding and contracts and lets us use their procurement system in the event that we want to upgrade this town hall. We were talking about doing the bathrooms at one time. We can go through the state contractors and they can help us with the bids and the contracts. And that's all I have for my report.
All right, thank you very much, Councilmember. Councilmember Moore?
I have a question. I'm sorry, and I needed this, but I'm sorry, excuse me, but this is for Councilmember Morris. I asked about the bulk trash, and I can be updated whatever offline, because I really need to know.
We'll update you.
I had a conversation with Morris today. He's been doing quite a few funerals in the last week or so, so we are going to get together, hopefully next week, to get started on our bulk trash. Even though the other sheet is in place for the individuals, but by late next week, we will have that. So I will probably email it to everybody so we could go, you could go over it online, and then we can go and make changes. However, if we need to meet, we will meet. On Saturday, we had a personnel handbook, and it was for about 4 hours, the meeting, and it was really good. The input was good. So in the next couple of weeks, Mayor, I hope we're able to get that together. We probably need to go over it one more time before we get it completely processed, which will be helpful. Also, I want to congratulate Councilmember Waiters. My granddaughter was a little upset because her mom had to work. And you know, everybody started going back to work. So being at 4:30, her mom was trying to rush home, but it didn't work out for her. I think they got on at the end, so she was a little upset. She was asking me if in the future you will have another one, because she loves the paint. So she wanted me to pass that on to her.
Okay.
And she's still talking about it, so
She is.
she's still mad.
Nice.
So,
I'm sorry.
yeah. So I thought that was a wonderful thing for the
I
kids.
over paint.
Okay. So I thought that was a really wonderful thing for the kids, because she was really interested.
Thank you.
So, and that's my report.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, Councilmember Wade?
I don't need to get up.
I guess there was,
Okay.
I'm not getting, I know, I'm not getting a response, they might have dropped off on the other line.
She's here. She's here.
Yeah.
She's here.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'll try to be brief. I have notes everywhere, to try to make up. The one thing that I do want to go back to, Ms. Walker's forwarded a text to me for explanation, and I didn't hear from, what she was saying on the phone. But Mrs. Remy, this is towards the green team. She was asking, the planning that she was referring to was small plants, she's speaking of the jury that we've done before, as a project for, the students, the kids to do. So that's what she was, for the market plants, they can take on more seed, is what she was saying. Well, I guess I'll talk about the art show first. Gosh, it was, we gave away art supplies stuffed in book bags, with all of the paint, the canvas, the paint brushes, palette for them to put the paint in, apron, just about everything they needed was in the kit. This was, you've heard this name mentioned at least several times in the meeting. Prince George's Art and Humanities Council was who we partnered with. They provided the artists. It was at 4:30, and we did have some extra bags for adults. We ran on Monday, passing out all over the community, passing out the bags, and it's a hard day's work. Our list trying to track all of the students and the youth, right? I'm sorry, I work at the school. Trying to track all of the individuals that we were giving the bags to and how many we would have left over. So this is like a little markup sheet, but it's full. And I have like 30-something over here. So we did pass out a total of 37 with the extras that we had.
That's good.
We still have some paint left over. We have finger paint left over. So in terms of logistics, it was facilitated by the Arts Council. We joined in. I couldn't see the gallery of everybody that was logged on, but I could hear the interaction that took place. So the concept was for them to draw one view of a planet and how this is our planet or something like that. And it took on a whole other spin. They started putting their other, here it is, I'm sorry. So this is my granddaughter. So let me stand up so you can- So it's supposed to be, this is our world, my world, or something like that. But they took on their own. It was supposed to be stars and planet, and they could take their favorite planet and say if it was Africa or the continent or the whole entire world. So mine wasn't looking like this. I refused to bring it because, but this is some of them. And one of the things that we did neglect to do at the I mentioned at the beginning, but at the very end of the session, we wanted them to bring their art in so that we can display it around the town hall, so I could put another message out for that.
Okay.
To end, well, to kind of sort of sum up, for your baby, some kids did miss. They missed, I couldn't get logged on, and so we have to do it again. And then we have, we said the age was from 8 to 14, but we didn't have anything for the 7 younger, but I did by finger paint. And then for the older, 14 or 15 on, we need to do something for them as well. So we kind of sort of, the council member with Dots and I, and so we were kind of kicking what will be next. And so the next project is a sheet, hand paint sheet of community for the young babies. They'll use the finger paint to create a sheet that will hang as a community art piece. And then we were thinking a glow party for the older students. I think, and then this photography, let me see, I guess it's a photography, there's a lot of photography courses in it. This is mine. This is one of mine. Can you see it? This is my photo. I love black and white. Sepia tone. When I was in college and I did art, the key to this was coloring using pencils to color in, which is a process that they used back when you had the black and white photos with the pink cheeks and just a lipstick on. That's how they did it. I show this because we've come a long way with graphics, and so I want to make it some project where they're doing photography around the community, where they just go out and freelance and just take pictures and come back and do something creative with them. But they were able to do them graphic and now build all kinds of apps, you know, to change things over. So that's just a little creative idea that we have, that, you know, to do next. So one way or another, when we move forward with the art projects that we have, we will include all ages. Okay, that was that.
Is there something related to that, Mr. Room?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I would like to add that the town of Fairmount Heights is here making great strides culturally. Yesterday on the news in Fairfax, Virginia, there was an autistic young man who participated in a similar program. And his art made headlines, because now he's been recommended and recognized by art galleries. And so he has his own gallery. So I think this is a good way to get parents and children involved in the town of Fairmount Heights. I think that's a wonderful event. And I also included in the scope of what we want to do in the farmers market. That'll be a good outdoor event as well.
I think this is wonderful, because they really have interest in the art.
Those are the art, I believe, Madam Mayor. I will not go back into the 4.4. It's been mentioned several times in the meeting. That was a concern in the work session, but it's been mentioned. I had a meeting recently. This is secondhand information that came out of the meeting. It's a concept, it's an idea, something that Senator Benson mentioned, that the stadium, when they have their practice games, when they first start, they usually practice in, I think it's Fairmount, Virginia, and they're advocating to have them do it here at the stadium in Landover to allow kids from the area not to have to leave the area, but to be able to go there and go to a practice game. You know, they start the practice games for the season that without having to pay for it. So I'll keep you informed on that. Economic development meetings for council to put on hold for a minute until, because there was so much economic development going on around us, particularly Addison Road, Eastern Avenue at the top of the hill. Some other plans for art corridor, for district, for Central Avenue being part of the blue corridor upgrade. And so I put it on hold because I prefer to have a community input meeting for our community to get community buy-in on what the concept of what we could be doing for Main Street design. With that, MML, the class that I went to at MML, and some of the people that I talked to, was concerning community action plan, which refers back to my intent to have a meeting in September for community input. And as I shared with the mayor and council in the work session, they used an example. And the example that they used was, the concept that they used was that the mayor and council would probably be in place for whatever the term is. And so you should create an action plan wherein if you have to have ordinances or resolutions, that would be the part that they would handle for the term that they're there. Well, so say it's a session, you plan out 4 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years. That's the community input and what the community wants to see. So that never has to stop as long as it becomes a plan that's accepted by the community. However, if it should require resolutions or ordinances, you still have a terms leadership there to pass ordinances relative to what the community has already planned out, forecasted out for years, which was suggested. And those are some of the concepts I'd like to go over in the community meeting. Madam Mayor, on my way to work, we talked about speed bumps, and we talked about a temporary. I did see New Carrollton put one back down, so I'm going to take a snapshot of where they have it. Strategically, they place it and then they take it up.
Okay.
That, and then we're talking about the digital solar that tells you how fast you're going.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a visual video to show you how it's tight to come around a certain curve, but when you come around, you see the speed that you are, because we mentioned those type of signals as well. So I'll give that, and I'll share that with the council. Don't want to miss anything, and I know it's everywhere. Swimming. Some years ago, we partnered with Park and Planning, and I know because we're coming out of COVID, it may be different, but I'm going to ask, where they provided transportation for youth to go to the pool. I think it's, I'm going to say Teresa Banks, but it's probably not Leonard's pool. Is that Leonard's pool? Whichever one it is.
Yeah, it's probably went on.
Right, so
Yeah.
the preference this time, and I know this little distance is Allen Park, Allen Splash Park, or someplace like that, because they have multiple pools and they have pool lessons and the like. So I'd like us to contact them and see if we can get some type of summer trip for that, if it's doable. Maybe not short time, but that's just one thing to mark down for the future. I think I'm going to forget something. I think that's it. I'm going to rest. I think that's Blue Cap. Thank you for that. I didn't know. We have a mess. I didn't know about them purchasing these schools.
Mayor, I wanted to piggyback on what she was talking about when we had work session. When we were talking about the Main Street, we were talking about the different, near the Metro, and the different buildings that were going up. So we're supposed to have a next meeting with those folks to come in and talk with us, plus the citizens, for all the stuff that's going on in our neighborhood, especially how it's going to affect, waiters keep saying that they're going to get on the Metro, but I don't think they're going to get on the Metro.
No, that's what they keep saying. They're
Right.
the ones that said that.
And then the townhouses up on the hill.
You're talking about Addison Road. Yeah.
And then the other townhouses up on the hill.
Addison
Eastern
Road.
Avenue.
Addison Road. The site of Old Fairfield Farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Eastern Avenue down there by the, I don't know what the section is.
Kitty Carter's used to be.
Right.
Oh, yeah, the top.
Right, where they building the
Yeah,
houses
yeah.
up on the hill. So we're just gonna have plenty traffic, and again, on the DC side, don't forget, that building is getting ready to open. Matter of fact, it might be open,
With the church.
right, on the
Yeah.
DC, right,
Yeah.
across the street.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
it's gonna be, it's already traffic now.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Right.
a bunch of it. A bunch of
Well,
extra
after
traffic.
Councilmember Morgan made that point last week, the next day I was going to work, and they've already started marking it off for the turn lanes, and they've already, they're not marked just yet, but they've already started marking it off as to whether you turn out in by UCAP or whether you
Yeah.
go straight. So there is, we just have to find out what the plan is, but
Yeah.
they did not implement the economic development, I mean, the
Right.
project without figuring from
Yeah,
transit,
traffic.
you know,
Yeah.
how, we just need to know what they're doing, what the plan is.
And you know, that is so true. I wanna just add this also. Monday, when I went over to Mr. Williams' funeral over here at J.B. Jenkins, has anybody been through Kentland? They have brand new streets over there. And, I mean, everything is paved just brand new. And the thing about it, you know, all that's county property, they have gone over and done that, because you gotta consider, they have the new community center there. They have the, what's the name, the, Prince George's Ballroom. And they're gonna make sure it's nice and smooth in there. Cause you know, it used to be all kind of bumps and humps going into Kentland. But it's not like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, and remember, the selling part for that, council member, is the backside, not the front side. It's
Right.
the backside for the transit development to feed
Right,
to
to feed
Shirley.
it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's gonna make a big difference.
It is.
So
But
I can get in touch with the attorney. He told me he would. At first he said, well, you know, because we're still sort of in a pandemic, I can go on and do a Zoom with you. But we can accept that too, if we could get it set up.
Yes.
So that we can project that. I would say we could possibly do that for September.
Okay.
So if you remind me, I will go on and contact him during the month of August and go on and set it up.
Madam,
Okay.
I have one more thing I know I was gonna do.
Okay.
Emergency preparedness, just real quick. We had an email, Ms. Tucker should have gotten a copy of it, and Ms. Remy and I are reviewing in terms of, the acronym is, BRIC, B-R-I-C. Remember seeing that, Ms. Tucker? It is, one second. It is flood mitigation assistance. funding opportunities for Prince George's County Office of Homeland Security for Emergency Management. They're gonna submit a sub-application on behalf of municipalities. Since with that, municipalities, we have to submit any gaps that we believe in our community that we foresee having regarding flood mitigation.
Okay, okay. Yes, that's another thing.
Money.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the only thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much, Councilmember. And Councilmember Wood Dodson?
Yes, first, keep everyone abreast that I wasn't just out to be out, I had surgery. I got a release to come back out to be a mom today. And I'll be going back again next month to have another surgery. But along with that, August the 7th and the 21st, I have projected a community yard sale. I'm going to put flyers together where we could do that's house to house. Where everyone could put their wares out from 9 to 3. As well, I've been working with UCAP, and again, like with the bags and the trips that we had taken prior to COVID, up until COVID happened, they got a larger bus. And I'm gonna make a flyer to put out in the community so I can reassess to get seniors now that are interested in. Today, we go to events for public playhouse, out to eat. We went to the Kennedy Center before. It's just different things that are done, and basically you pay for food if you go out to eat, but as far as tickets, the most we go for free. So those are events that will be coming up. So as soon as that flyer is formulated and it can circulate through the community, and I get another list of the available, seniors that are interested, and that's like 55 on up that can go. So as many that can, the more they can, the bigger the branch. And like what we're saying, it's a possibility that we will be able to reevaluate or assess what can be done for the senior group here to be, more forthcoming with our own transportation. We might find a link like UCAP has. Because right now we collaborate with them. Most of the seniors that do go, we, formulate a list. And Roy goes house to house. I mean, he go all the way down in Bowie and pick up, as well as dropping off bags. So a flyer will be going in the community for those that want to be on the list. I mean, you get all kind of little goodies in a bag. And if you are interested in need or have a need for a food bank, you don't have to really go out and look for it. They bring it to your door. So it's a good thing.
What time would your community yard sale probably start?
The 7th and the 21st from 9 to 3.
Okay.
Now, it depends on the individual. I mean, that's the cutoff time we like to project, but if that's your house and if you want to
Do what you,
you
okay.
can do what you want.
And that's great. That's a great idea
It
to do
is.
a community-wide.
So-
And Councilmember, I think it's a really good idea if you want to put the flyer out early,
Yeah, that's what
because
I'm
before
doing.
you know it, the 7th will be here.
Yeah.
So
I'm
just
gonna
get that one
try
out
to-
and then get, you can even put the 7th and the 21st
Right,
on
I
there,
know.
so they know both
Both
days,
days,
and they
yeah.
can start preparing.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. I think people will really catch on to something like that also. Because we haven't really had, I remember at one time, though, we used to sort of group together and like 2 or 3 houses would do it, but do it community-wide, I think it's something really, and it could drum up some spirit possibly.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, because I said if we could do that now while the weather prevails, then as we have to come inside, we can do like back in the day, do a bazaar downstairs like we've done before, and we can bring it in just to keep something forth going
Yeah,
for people that want to get out and do something.
I think it's a good idea. It is. And we need to make sure that it goes on the TV station, it goes on the website, okay? Make sure we get it out.
Are you gonna do it?
Okay.
I have a question for I was going to finish.
Okay.
So are you gonna do it like you did it the last time where they get the tables from the town, or they can use their own tables, or?
You know, I think you had to use your own table, but
Yeah.
if you needed one from the town, we can do an assessment and see who it is, and maybe they can rent a table for a day for $5,
You know, I know, and I think doing it at home might be a good idea if everybody uses their own table.
Yeah.
Because you can sort of improvise at home, you know, you can always put out, you know, even
Piece of wood.
put something out, yeah,
Piece
a
of wood.
whatever, something, a platform, and then lay your items out there and circle them on the lawn or whatever.
That's right.
But without
I know.
having all the back and forth of having to take tables in and take them out, I think it's a good idea
just
that
use
everybody
your
use their
own.
own table.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I have one more question. You know, you had a path, or everybody knew where they were gonna be, what they were gonna be?
Well, maybe with creating a flyer and putting it out, we can ask as many to call that would be participating, and then we might have a list of where they can go. You know, you'll have a trail.
Okay.
Okay. But that was it.
Yeah, that's great, great. Okay. All right, well, thank you all very much for everybody's report. And at this time, we're going to move to public participation, and, you know, we should be making a pipeline so we can move on. I'm going to start, first of all, I'll start with Mr. Barnhart first, and then anyone else that has information for the good of the organization can come. Well, this one, I don't think he's...
I think that
They're
one's
not
working over there.
That one isn't, okay. All right, so...
The one at the podium
Oh,
is.
the one at the podium, okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right. Martez Barnhart, President of the Citizens Association. I'm gonna start number one on my list, and it would be public safety. I know Councilwoman mentioned earlier about the meeting that we had last time and the survey that's coming out. But the question that I have right now for our department is, we had a program that was supposed to roll out, the reserve program. Where is that at right now?
Well, due to budgeting and the fact that we are now having to deal with whether or not we want to have a department, once we get the survey, because we did budget for, I think it was 4 reservists. And again, once we get an answer back from the majority of the citizens in the town, we can go forward with that reserve program.
Okay, so that's gonna be put on hold until we get the survey out
And,
of the way.
yes, because basically, everyone wanted to have the opportunity whether to say whether or not they want a police department or not.
Okay. So, the last meeting that we had, Miss Susan Walker was here, the town treasurer, and she made mention that, and I know we're gonna still move forward with the survey. I think that's best for the community to give their opinion and give what they, suggest that we should do for our public safety. But Susan Walker, our town treasurer, did mention that one of the focal points for us having our own department was the funding that we received from the state, as far as us having our own department. I know she said something about a 60 and 40. If folks don't know what that meant, was that, you could have your own department that's 60% and you can get outside help from the county of the 40%. But I think that we got to be very, wise in a way to see how we're going to deal with that, because she did make mention we do stray another way as far as changing our department, that we're going to lose funding. So that's something that we really need to think about. Citizens Association did contact, Prince George's County did contact the Citizens Association last month. We're going to be working with Fairmount Heights PD and Prince George's County PD on how to service our area until we get this resolved about getting our own department and getting reserve officers. That right there is something that we want to put out to the community to make sure folks know that, look, if you see something out there, please say something. It ain't about being a snitch. It ain't about, you know, telling and none of that kind of stuff. You could call as an anonymous caller. You don't have to give them your name. You have to give them your phone number, and you can report any incidents, any crimes, anything that you see on your street or you know, in the neighborhood. We're having a problem with our citizens not wanting to do that for a variety of reasons. They first don't think that, you know, no one's going to come out. That's one thing that we've been hearing. The second thing is that, you know, they don't want their neighbors to know, you know, for, you know, noise ordinances or, you know, other things that they the ones that, you know, doing the calling. But I encourage folks to call, anonymous caller. You have to get your name, your phone number, anything like that, so you can go ahead and you know, report any kind of incident that you may see. Street study. We talked about that in our last meeting, and I know that that's something that we're going to be working on as far as speed bumps and, you know, parking and things like that. Where are we at with that right now for the street study?
You want me to, you want to answer? I mean,
You go ahead and then, just go ahead.
as far as the street study is concerned, you know, that was turned over to the treasurer to get the
bids.
appropriate amount of the bids to say which company do we use.
Okay.
And I think she asked for feedback as to who, you know, what would be the focus of it. And I think most people gave her an answer what we really desired to have, and she's massaging that, working on it now, so we haven't received a response on that.
Okay.
Now, the issue about the speed bumps, that was something that even came up in our work session again. We know that that is one of the greatest desires, and the more I'm home now, I see up and down, like we're definitely from Addison Road to Church, that's the International Speedway there.
Right.
Because people take it a shortcut.
Right.
So, you know, the severity is there. We've known it for a long time, and we really need to get those bumps.
Right.
Yeah.
And-
Like I said, you go down Kentland, they got it so nice and smooth, and you know, on one side, it used to be a side where they had bumps on one end, and then one part that was smooth. Well, hey, I think they got the whole thing, and I'm quite sure the county put it in.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are also part of the study. The speed bumps are also part of the streets, the traffic study.
Okay. We just want to get like an idea of when Miss Walker's going to have, you know, the bids in. So, you know, because, you know, the citizens been hearing this for years. Speed bumps been a talk around here for like 25, 30 years. And, you know, that kind of like wear on your ear a little bit when you keep on hearing the same old, but ain't nothing getting done. So our thing is we want to see some progress.
Okay.
And I think by giving people some kind of projection date, that kind of give them a little bit more insight about what you're doing.
Okay.
You know, just, you know, we're going to do, you know, some bids. That don't really tell the folks nothing. You know what I mean? But saying, okay, we got, you know, this many amount of bids right now, and we'll have something to y'all by, you know, the 1st of September.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
Well, in our work session,
So-
go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're in recess from the month of August.
August.
However, I am supposed to work with, or I'm committed to working with Ms. Walker
Okay.
to have something presented. And so we're working, like we're not meeting, but we're still working on various different things during the month of August. And we intend to come back in September with, you know, something concrete. For that, and the other was the bathrooms.
The bathrooms, yes, those are high on our priority list, the speed bumps and the restrooms, high on our priority list. So like during our downtime, well, it's not downtime, but I mean, not meeting time, brainstorming time, those are some of the things we hope to accomplish now. I don't see why we can't really make both of them happen
Right.
during that time frame. So I'm not giving you the date, I'm listening to what Councilmember Wade said, and they have agreed to sort of tackle it more at a level that we can get it to the point where we could actually put a date and time out there.
Okay.
Because as far as once we get the funding and everything organized for these, because we're talking about almost total renovation for this top and bottom level, because you want to make it nice. There's no sense in just throwing some money at it and not letting it be rough. So we need to make it conducive, because we have to make sure that it's ADA compliant also. So all those things must be taken into consideration. So that was definitely, that was on our list, that was an agenda item for work session. I think you were here for work session.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And I just got two last things
I
real
just
quick.
want to add to that. In our work session, you know, we were talking, for some of the citizens who weren't there, we were talking about how we were gonna, certain streets needed maybe one or two. Remember, we talked about, so we're, you know, as we go, we're trying to see what neighborhood needs, more than the other.
Right.
So even though we know every street probably needs,
Right.
but we're not sure if it needs one or two, because some streets are longer than, some
Right.
streets are shorter, so.
Right. We're quite sure whoever's doing the street study, the engineering,
Right.
because they use them camera lenses and things like that to see the distance of the street.
Yes.
You know, then they study the flow of traffic, so that'd be easy for them to go ahead and kind of help out with that.
Yes.
The other two things were, I wanted to thank the citizens that came out today as far as the ethics board and the election board. I know that, people have their own lives, families and working and things like that, and I just appreciate folks that stepping up and stepping in to help out the town. So I just want to say thank you all for your time. Yep. And the other thing is, I've been noticing that Public Works has been doing a great job as well. We've been seeing them throughout the community. I know, we still kind of short on guys, but we have been seeing a difference in some of the alleys, and some of the streets have been getting cleaned up too. So I wanted to, acknowledge them as well. They work around here all the time in the heat and sweat and all that. And, we just want to acknowledge that they out here doing a good job.
Thank you for that.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Mrs. Syfax, you can come to the podium.
Well, coming up here, did Councilwoman Hargrove leave a report?
She had an emergency. She didn't give me one, so I don't know.
I'd just like to note that she's been absent, emergencies, and no report. And we lost our clerk to the council because the clerk refused to read a report that she wrote then. So it would be good to have some consistency and some evidence of working for the town from that council lady. Did I understand Ms. Walker to say that last year we had a $200,000 excess that wasn't spent, surplus?
You mean just on the phone, on the line just now?
When she made her
Oh,
report,
she made a report.
she said there was I thought she said there was a
I didn't hear the
$200,000.
whole thing because the phone was over there. So we were working at a disadvantage, but.
Did anybody else see that?
It's written out, I think I left mine in the back too, my report from work session.
Well,
What she was doing, Ms. Syfax, from what I heard and what I understand, this is the last report for not the new fiscal year, it was 22, but 21. So she was, at the end, she was saying that we were underspent.
yeah,
On the bottom line.
So I'd just like to couple that with what Councilman Morris said about there being procurement assistance from the state, that we should hurry up and get some speed bumps. That we have the money and we have the technical assistance available to do that. And they probably can help us if we I think a lot of us are aware of the urgency of getting speed bumps. It's just really terrible. I mean, just on 59th Avenue is a trip. So we have everything there that we need, I think, and I certainly will help in any way I can. The other thing that's concerning me is the police survey. We really need to have a timeline. We need to have a process we need to point out to the members of our community the pros and cons of having, not having, the budgeting. It needs to be a committee effort to come up with the survey, with the timeline, with an opportunity for the Citizens Association or anybody else who wants to advocate for one way or the other to have that opportunity to communicate with those that are being surveyed. But this cannot be some little haphazard thing that really doesn't serve a purpose. So just to have a survey, do you want a police department or not? That just is not the issue. You know, the issue is what's best for our public safety. So I'm just wondering how is this process of getting input from the citizens, what are the ground rules? Just, is it written out someplace so that the citizens know what the survey is, who it's going to be issued to, how responses are going to be validated, whether they count or not, whether somebody's eligible to give an opinion. It's just a whole lot to it. But it really needs to be started with a discussion and a Zoom call or a meeting. The Citizens Association might be able to do it, but it needs to be something that truly is a best practice in surveying on something this important. So
I can give you a little input on that. I have worked with Major Waddy as well as Lieutenant Sims, and we've put together a survey. And as I've stated before in my report, I will be meeting with the community chairs to review the survey to get additional input from them before we actually put out the survey. But my goal is to have this survey out into the community no later than the second week of August.
Okay, so can I put in 10 responses? I mean, I want to know just is it going to be written up, what the process is, so that everybody participating understands what it is and understands that it will represent an accurate assessment of the pros and cons of having or not having a police force.
And again, that is my purpose of having the meeting with the community chairs.
Now, who is the community chairs?
Mr. Barnhart is one, as well as he's advised me that Fairmount Heights Citizens Association is a unit, so it will include Mrs. White as well as Mr. Johnny Saxon.
So who does this go to? Registered voters? I mean, just who gets the survey? Who collects them?
It's in every single solitary person in the town of Fairmount Heights is entitled to receive the survey, whether they're a homeowner, renter, registered voter, non-registered voter. If they are a citizen of Fairmount Heights, they are entitled to have an opinion and fill out this survey.
So is the election board involved? I mean, I'm just saying,
Okay.
I'm asking what the universe is. Just what is the universe and who establishes eligibility? What is the universe? Is it just we just get 10,000 surveys and pass them out and count all of them to come back with no no identification of who's doing what? it just really needs to be, we need to define the universe. Do we just take somebody's word that I'm a stakeholder, I'm a renter?
Well,
You know,
first-
we
first- first
have
and-
900 and we have 998.
First and foremost, I'll be using the listing from the census.
And that
That's
lists
what I'll be
people's
using.
names.
That's what I'll be using,
That
they
doesn't
will.
list people's names.
It is the addresses of in the census, and they will be addressed to the residents of those addresses.
So who is going to
Because they
count
asked it,
those?
because it was, during the meeting, they requested to have it mailed out to them. They did not want to entrust it as a flyer, they requested to have it mailed. Well, I could either use the listing from the census, or I can use the listing from the registered voters. But then it's gonna neglect the people that aren't registered in the town of Fairmount Heights.
Having a police department or not, to me, is not something that should be decided by a process like this. I mean, it really should be a legislative or mayor and council action that is preceded by some heavy discussions with the citizens. But this survey and all that, I really think that this is important enough that that there should be some legislation or something, but just to have a bunch of random people off a list, because one of the things that we have found in doing some civic action of our own is that there's just a lot of bad information, a lot of non-existent people, and really the only way that we can make sure that the people that count is with an election board. I mean, or something like what the election board does with a, you know, with a voter roll and verification. And deciding whether or not to have a police department is just too important to not handle in a manner that makes sense to everyone. But I just really think this idea of a survey and to do it in the next 2 weeks, and we don't even, and there's so many questions about it, but we need public safety. And I just think at this point, somehow we need to move forward with public safety. We have all this excess money, and we just need to handle this in an acceptable manner.
So then what list would you suggest that they use?
Well, I mean, I just think that we for years have been talking. We've had a police department. We've had these meetings. We've decided that we're going to have a reserve force. Thousands and thousands of dollars of staff time and our tax dollars have been put into planning for this reserve force and getting a police chief. So, you know, why throw some survey in? And we have spent a lot of human capital and personnel dollars in getting to the point of this reserve. And I just really think, and the Citizens Association have talked to the head of District 3 and the officer from Mount Rainier, and they seem to be able to help us in carrying out what we put all this time into planning for. And we should get that in place.
My question is still, what list do you think we should use?
I think that we should go forward with all the planning that we have done. You were involved, I mean, meetings before and over the pandemic, and we had come to, correct me if I'm wrong, that we get these reserve officers, we try that. It has worked in the past very well.
But what list should we go to?
I'm saying that the mayor and council and the,
You want citizens' participation? But
I'm-
how do you, because I'm asking.
okay,
a question, I want-
how you get citizen participation is the people that voted the mayor and council in,
that-
that some
that would be a
outreach
list.
is done,
That would be a list of voters of Fairmount Heights.
right.
No, cannot.
Wait a minute.
Go
Wait,
ahead and say what you're saying, because
Yeah, because I really, I'm getting way out
Yeah,
of my
'cause
knowledge base
right,
right now.
'cause then
But what
I'm really confused.
All I'm saying is, in the same way that, you all are elected officials and are there to reflect what the, people in the town would like. And from the community activity that the Citizens Association has done, and we've knocked on a lot of doors and contacted a lot of people, and what most of them want is more police presence. Am I correct? They want more police presence. They like the idea, would you please let me finish? Would you please let me finish? Would you let me finish?
Okay, you know.
No, this is a good conversation, and
Not between the two.
She can't hear you.
I think she can hear, she can hear.
what I'm saying is that what I've witnessed in the work sessions and the town meetings over the last year and a half or more is consistent with the observations that we get from the citizens that we've had contact with. That's what I'm saying. Madam Mayor, we need a sergeant at arms, we need to turn her off. We're making progress. That's one person. You need to turn her off. We're having.
I'm gonna get to the, Miss Gladden, hold on for a moment.
I mean, we're making some progress
now.
now.
As soon as Ms. Syfax is finished, and then, yeah, but what I'm saying is, everybody cannot talk at the same time. She's in the room talking. I'm coming to the line after this. I'm coming to the line.
So all I'm saying is that we have had meetings. We've had meetings. We've gone over this, and we've had contact with the citizens, and we had a plan to resume the reserve officer program. We have all this excess money, but if you want to go to the state and carry this out another 6 months or whatever for us to learn how to properly do a survey, maybe we need to just hire a pollster. If you want to spend $10,000 and have, but we've already had work sessions and town meetings over almost 2 years. And they've all, and though we've had a lot of bumps and whatever, we have progressed toward an approach to our public safety, which was to have these reserve officers. That's where we are. And over and above that, Councilwoman Akinduwaka arranged to have the head of the 3rd District and the lieutenant from Mount Rainier come and talk to us, and they expressed an ability to work with us in any fashion and help us move in any direction that we want to, and we already did that. Why kick the bucket after all of that time? That's all I'm saying. Why kick the bucket after we spent all the time and got to that point?
With all due respect, Mrs. Syfax, the reason we're kicking the bucket because the majority of the citizens that attended that meeting requested that we do this survey.
Well, then I'm
gonna take you back because
you need to get a professional survey that.
I agree with the survey. I agree with getting the pollster. 4 users.
I mean, you need
Two
to be a
elected-
professional survey.
I agree with that, but my question is.
But it's gonna take a while, it's gonna cost some money, but we have $200,000 surplus.
But I don't know what.
But my
we have.
question is, I'm agreeing.
But let's survey, if we pay for a survey, then maybe we need to also include some other areas in the survey, because it's probably gonna be pretty
I agree
pricey.
with that, but my question remains, who is the survey gonna go to? Is it the registered voters, is it the PG County election list?
I don't know.
Mayor,
But those things need to be discussed and
Councilmember Waiters
decided.
has an answer for us.
I didn't, don't, a lot of times you answer me, I have my hand up.
Yeah, that's what,
So, a survey. The survey should have been created with critical input or criteria. That's what you're saying, right? The survey was created per recommendation.
These are big words.
From, sorry, without input from the citizen. What she's saying is, the citizens should have had input. The survey should have been drawn up from the input, the criteria should have been set, and then you place the survey out to the community. In terms of who it's going to go to, that's not a good question to ask. I'm saying, that's not a good question to ask as a leader, because one, you don't use the census. The census provides the stats for your ages, your population, your income, not demographics, not names. You can't use that information. It's for setting certain standards or programs or whatever. You use the stats for that. The other thing is election. I'm a certified election judge. You get a voter registration list. It is for voter registration or for an election, not to come together and put taxes or start sending things to people's homes because you're doing a survey. If it has nothing to do with voting, you cannot do that. Okay, so I just want to make that point. In terms of where you get the list from, how many homes do we have? We know the address to every home in this community and should know the ones that are occupied or not. Who's it go to? Either the resident or the occupant, one of the two. It should be mailed to the door. Or the property owner. To the door for a response. You collect everything and then you sit down. I think Ms. Fairfax is saying at some point or another, the cart was put before the horse, but then more importantly, we were talking about reserves, and we did leave that because initially, when we had a meeting with some other individuals that came in, they made the recommendation that the community decide whether they want the community police department or some other, and that was never done. We're just in this survey process now. So I hope I've helped with a further explanation, answer some of your questions, but I just want to get that part about the census more importantly, and the voters. You cannot use a voter registration list, and you do not have access to the census unless you created this when you did the census drive.
And so, and I guess my last question is, so if we get a survey back, we get 1,000 back, we probably get about 200 back, and that's going to decide whether or not we have a police department or not. I mean, I think it's too important to.
My question is
that might be informative. I'm saying that's informative. That's informative, but I don't think it should be conclusive
I think
or
there was
decisive.
a good, I'm going to say approximately 15 to 20 people that were here that attended the meeting. And again, I'm not saying that what I've done is going to be it. What I'm saying is that I'm asking to have the chair of the committees in the town of Fairmount Heights come in, review it with me, give me some input from a citizen's point of view.
That's a public hearing.
Okay, so.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I think, yeah, there are a lot of issues to be discussed on this. Like I said, there's so many different ways this could go. We don't know what the best policy is, but I like the idea of saying that we can't use certain lists. I mean, you know, there are stipulations, but we have an idea about the amount of homes that are occupied, And I guess it would have to go out as probably, like you said, resident.
Well, I
or
did
whoever
have a
the owner of the
conversation
house
with
is.
Mr. Pinkney. He said he only had a listing of the vacant properties.
Okay.
So I guess what we're going to have to do is, have him compile?
Well, you know, I think now the probably Department of Assessments and, Taxation,
Okay.
you could probably go, because that's public information.
Yeah.
You could get it from them.
Oh, yeah, you can just look that up on the computer.
Yeah,
You
that'll
just,
tell you
you just
exactly
put each
who's been
street
what
and it
time.
lists
Yeah.
everything's on the
Okay.
street.
All right, so if you
So-
go
so-
to that, I think you have more success.
Okay,
But
I
like
can
I
do
said,
that.
I hope that all of the rules, and I hope that maybe those 15 people or more that came to the meeting can get back together again and maybe figure out another way, because this survey just seems like it might be not cost beneficial.
Okay,
I'm
thank
saying
you.
that the
Thank
newsletter
you,
would be
Ms.
another way
To who?
newsletter, put it in the newsletter. The
About-
information, FYI.
Yeah, yeah. But still, I think in order for it to be effective, it's gonna need to go by some way of, if it's not the Department of Assessment, then it needs to be sent out that way, because when you say just to put it either on the website or put it in a flyer or put it on the, you're not gonna get the kind of response from that. You're not gonna get it.
They requested
And
that it be
hopefully
mailed.
you're gonna get it if you send the letter.
And not like we did in the
Yeah.
census, we walked the street, that's how we got our, we walked the street.
And has the mayor and council decided that that's gonna be, that they're gonna vote, just whatever, it just doesn't seem.
Well, that's what, she's trying to at least get it to a point where we can attack that whole issue. She realized the importance of it when we sat right there with it in the last meeting. So, like I said, there are a lot of options, there are some ways that are going to work and some that aren't. But I'll agree that information as far as the census information and the voter registration are not the methods to use. You need to get from that Department of Assessment. You can get everybody's address and get everything. And we already know that we have about 450 occupied homes in the town. Now, unless that number has increased, it was about 40, 50 the last time I had the information. It's probably, it might be 500 by now, I don't know. But at least we know it's somewhere in that ballpark.
So
Yeah.
Mayor, just one more thing, I think that we should also think, should we just say that if we don't get 20% or 30% response, should we just, establish a baseline for
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
whether or not,
Yeah.
even council, if we don't get a sufficient, if we don't get 20 or
Response.
30%,
If you don't get a certain response, then it's not,
and it might be
It's not
that
gonna
needs
be
to
the
be a
guideline.
referendum or something that's voted on, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah. Okay. All right then, well, I'm going to, just a moment, Miss Gladden, Miss Gladden, we're about to come to the line. If there are no other questions here, I'm about to go to the line. Okay, come on, Miss.
You can go to the line.
No, because I wanna, once I get finished with this line here, I wanna be out. So,
I have one simple question. My name is Joyce White. I'm the Vice President of the Citizens Association. We, as a Citizens Association, got a big complaint about the truck driver, Mr. Sawyer. You informed me that day, work session, that Mr. Sawyer did not have a contract or he's not an employee. The situation was very dangerous for the citizen to come to the Citizens Association. And we just want to know what happened with that. Is he still driving our trash truck we just purchased?
yeah. And that is, yes, he's still driving, and we had executive session. I think it was after we left for work session. And the vote was not complete enough to say that we would no longer use it for our drive. It was just split down the middle. We had, I think one time, one council member was absent. She was on sick leave. But other than that, it was just split.
Okay, so we had made a decision, are we gonna revisit that? Because it's a dangerous situation.
That was not the vote.
Huh?
That was not the vote.
What was it?
It was 2 and 4.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I said one person was missing.
That's
And
that.
then if there was one person abstaining. So, I mean, we didn't get to be sincere about it. We didn't get the response we needed in order to say he would no longer be working with us. I put it like that.
So we're gonna take the chance of getting sued again?
No, we can't. We can't. No, and these are the kind of things that during our August time, we're gonna have to address a lot of these issues. Well, we might not have a regular meeting, but these are issues that have to be addressed.
Okay,
So I'm not gonna say what day, but just feel secure that we're gonna be working during the month of August.
okay,
We will be working,
all right.
okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to move to, if there's no one else here that has any other comments, I'm going to move to Ms. Gladden. Are you still there? And is there anyone else on the line? Because I need to get ready. We have been in session for 4 hours within a few minutes because we had an earlier session that began at 6. So is there anything else? I know Ms. Gladden, I know you were on the line. Is there anything else?
No, I just want to comment on the survey. I think one of the reasons the last time we had a meeting, when Lieutenant Waddy and the gentleman, the lieutenant from Mount Rushmore was there, is because, as I've indicated on several times, the communication that Fairmount Heights is currently using is not working. For example, the meeting tonight, it was not broadcast on TV station, Channel 11. I clicked on Channel 11 today. Fairmount Heights is not even broadcast. The meeting is not on the website. It's on the website, but there's no contact information on the website. Newsletters are not going out. So I think that was one of the reasons why we said a survey should go out, be mailed to each individual house. Because people are not getting the information. And then I don't think that the Citizens Association, they're doing a great job, but I don't think the Citizens Association should be making the decision for our police department for 900 and some registered residents in this town. It's good for the Citizens Association, yes, but everyone that pays taxes in this town is entitled to public safety. And then Mayor, you mentioned occupied homes. Personally, my mother's home hasn't been occupied for 3 years. She still pays her full taxes every year. She still has the right to public safety, whether her house is occupied or not. And just like the one of the council members said, Councilmember Waver or someone had mentioned, whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a renter, whether you're living in your parents' or your grandparents' house, it doesn't matter. If you live in this town and you call a police officer has an obligation to respond. So every household in this town is entitled to give their input on the police department.
Okay, all right, I get that. Thank you very much for that, Ms. Gladden. And I didn't want to make it seem like everybody didn't deserve it, because I know everybody deserves it. I'm just saying just for stats purposes, but no sense to me, boggling that down. So I heard your message very well, and thank you for that.
And then the people that come out, you're welcome, the people that come out to the meeting, quite honestly, it's the same 20 or 30 people for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Even before COVID, I've been coming to the meetings for 2.5 years. The meetings haven't grown. There are no new people coming to the meetings. At most, any meeting, you have 30 people at most. Citizens Association, you may have 10 people at most. So it's not like these meetings are growing. We cannot rely on the input from the meetings because we don't have enough people in the town
I'm going to, I think we've spent quite a bit of time, you know, discussing, and I have notes from all that we've taken, plus everything has been reported. So I want just to say thanks to everyone for coming this evening, thanks for your input, thanks for your time. And at this time, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn at, what's that? Now, whatever it is.
It's about 9:55.
9:55.
I get a second on that?
Morris, second.
Probably lose a second and we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And thank you all again for coming. Have a wonderful evening, rest of your evening. You gotta throw those back. I heard your sound coming back.
It sounded like it went back into the